So, man, a lot of fun and drama popped up today as between the Vikings and Titans because you thought the game was over and ain't over. Sticks with you forever as 3 Titans players, 5 support personnel tested positive for the Rona. This on the heels, by the way, this one unreported for the most part. So outside linebackers coach slash de facto defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, he missed the game because he had a positive test, as well as they recently placed a cornerback Greg Maben on the COVID reserve list. So you would think that a guy who's on the practice squad, in the practice facility every single day, he goes on the COVID list, and then the guy who is the defensive coordinator, basically, he tests positive. Yeah, you're just a little bit pause for concern because, frankly, we had forgotten about the Rona. I mean, the NFL has done a phenomenal job with COVID-19 procedures and testing. Make sure everything's above board. Make sure there is actually a season. But yeah, this story, I mean, this is just making Florio orgasm right now. Just hey, cancel football, cancel everything, at least until, they got more fuel. They're like a dying campfire. Then all of a sudden, just whoosh, pure oxygen, right there. And, it was going to happen. By the way, because complacency does kill. I mean, 3 weeks through the NFL, you're like, all right, so we're good to go. I mean, not so much concerned about COVID, and I mean, everything's fine, and very few positive tests, and the COVID reserve lists are pretty much empty, yada, yada, yada. And then poof. So maybe it is a good wake-up call, but it's really unfortunate that the Titans were so cavalier with their attitude about it. It's like, oh, well, we just had a player, and then we had a player on reserve, and then we had just had a coach test positive like a couple days before the game. Here we come to US Bank Stadium. So the Vikings are being unfairly punished because of the Titans' idiocy, right? So positive note. Does sound like Vikings-Texans is going to be on. So Adam Schefter tweeted this out. NFL wants to and intends to play the Titans-Steelers game scheduled on Sunday, blah, 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 blah. And then Courtney Cronin, ESPN, Vikings writer, quote tweeted this. So the Titans facility, everything I've heard this morning points to the league wanting the Vikings-Texans game to go on as scheduled, barring any outbreaks, end quote. So now, couple things going on here where if the Vikings do have to miss practice, like actual physical in-person practice, that is a monster detriment. And I think it's pretty unlikely, given the events of today, that the Vikings will be in the facility business as usual tomorrow, which is the first day of practice for the week for a Sunday game. It's an install day. It's an extremely important practice day. But if the Vikings are denied that, that's on the Titans. It's absolute BS that the Vikings are being punished for the Titans' transgressions in this spot. And also, we should be entitled to financial and draft pick compensation. Feels like a 2021 first-round pick and a 2022 second-round pick. That sounds about right. What say you, Goodell? Right? Because also, the fact that they've been hammering coaches with fines for, like, John Gruden not wearing his G-string mask properly, I wouldn't be shocked if they absolutely bring the band hammer down on the Titans, just boomstick, because the Titans did play fast and loose with the protocol here, and it's really unfortunate that the Vikings are the bunt, are having some of the side effects. But players tested multiple times a day. If the Vikings team and building is clean of multiple tests, could be back in business. And also, it's being reported as of right now, the Vikings have 0 positive tests. Again, it does take a little bit to get some of these results back, but the Vikings game is on schedule on Sunday like normal, but the Vikings are virtually learning. Now, if you're the parent of any kids that are in school and they're virtually learning, you realize that they ain't learning jack, right? So it's obviously a hindrance, and the Vikings looking to get right against the 0-3 Texans, potentially save the season, and yeah, you could go down the rabbit hole. Well, it's great. Just use COVID as an excuse. We went down the rabbit hole this morning about blah, 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 and then just lose. But not going to lie, if they had rescheduled the Texans game and they gave an extra week for Danielle Hunter to get right, let's go. And yes, before we go down the whole COVID rabbit hole, yes, I know it's a highly infectious disease, but it does have a 99.999 survivability rate among those infected under the age of 9 or under the age of 70. Don't want to open up the can of worms. Again, we stay pretty apolitical here, but why is everything still shut down? Yeah, but the rules are the rules. That is the major key here, because you could have a really stupid-ass NFL rule like, hey, if the rule was you could not play the game, your team would be canceled if you ate carrots. Bitch, you ain't eating carrots. Even if you think the rule is dumb, it is still the rule, right? And a lot of the COVID protocols, could you say some of it's PR? Sure. Like coaches being fined 6 figures for not wearing a mask properly on the sidelines. Players and coaches, again, are tested every single day. It is very rigorous, the amount of testing they go through. And players don't wear masks, and they're spreading spittle and lung butter all over the place in games and in practice, and it's not really socially distancing. So do the masks really do any good for said coach? Probably not. But is it important for optics and for public relations? Yeah, absolutely. Also, if you have a bunch of players either positive or in recent contact with those positive or suspected of being positive, you can't play. And that's just the rule, because they are going to be overly cautious, both for actual COVID reasons as well as for PR, so they can continue the season. And that just is what it is. It's like how the NFL used to be with weed. Again, I don't care if you smoke weed. It's pretty okay, right? And also, if the players smoke weed for anxiety or pain management, I'd rather them smoke a little J, make the joints feel better, than a whole bunch of Oxy or a bunch of Dr. Feelgoods, right? But that's a whole nother argument for another day. But again, it's not a moral judgment. Like, I do not care if people smoke weed, but if, again, before the old rule, if you failed a weed test and it took you off the field, then it's a problem. Again, I think the rule is dumb, but it is still the rule. So you got to follow the rules. And it does seem like Vikings-Texans will still probably be on. But the Vikings could be at a disadvantage against the Texans because they'll have a full week of practice. They're still 0-3. They're still bad. That's okay. I mean, the Vikings coming in 2 days of practice, maybe 1 day of practice, maybe no practice at all. They're just the entire week. Hey, what did we do bad? Why did we collapse? Oh, we'll just learn from our blue iPads, aka Microsoft Surfaces, and then we'll just fly down to Houston, and then we'll get it on. Right? Thanks, Titans. Thanks. At minimum, they should be forced to forfeit the game. I think that's pretty easily, and then also give the Vikings at least a second-round draft pick, maybe a first round or two. Yeah, because why not? But either way, yeah, bring it on. Besides, I'm ready to make brisket for the hot dish this week anyway, so let's go. All right, so your thoughts. Vikings-Texans likely won't be canceled or rescheduled. Your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.